Hello and welcome to G-Lens Media. I'm Ann Smith, your virtual anchor, here with the latest on today's top stories. A British national is under investigation in Nigeria after being arrested in connection with an alleged illegal weapons procurement in the oil-rich Niger Delta region. This is particularly alarming given the rising insecurity in the country. The suspect was arrested at Lagos Airport while attempting to fly to the United Kingdom. The Niger Delta has long faced unrest due to clashes between armed groups and security forces. These groups often claim to fight for resource control but are frequently linked to kidnappings, oil theft, and infrastructure sabotage, draining billions from Nigeria's economy. The incident comes as Nigeria continues to struggle with insecurity from various fronts, including terrorist groups like Boko Haram and ISWAP, as well as violent bandits in the north. Questions around how these groups access funds and weapons have persisted, with some experts suggesting external backing. The civil society groups and Niger Delta stakeholders staged a protest at the British High Commission in Abuja, urging the UK government to cooperate fully with Nigerian authorities in investigating the suspect. Leading civic tech organization Budge IT has raised alarm over what it describes as massive budget padding by the Nigerian National Assembly. In a detailed analysis of the 2025 Appropriation Act, Budge IT uncovered over 11,000 questionable projects worth a combined 6.93 trillion naira, allegedly inserted by lawmakers during the budget approval process. The revelation has sparked widespread outrage among citizens, economists, and accountability groups, as Nigeria grapples with inflation, high debt servicing costs, and underfunded critical sectors like health and education. According to Budge IT, many of the inserted projects are either duplicated, vague, overpriced, or located in areas with no clear justification. Some lack implementing agencies, while others appear entirely fictional. This level of padding is unprecedented, said Gabriel Okowo, Budge IT's country director. What we're seeing is not just inefficiency, it is a systemic hijacking of public funds under the guise of constituency projects. Budge IT's findings point to a recurring pattern where legislators manipulate the budget to channel resources to pet projects, many of which are never executed or lack any form of oversight. Despite public outcry, some lawmakers have defended the additions as constituency interventions. However, Budge IT's report suggests that these projects often bypass ministerial planning and undermine Nigeria's development strategy. Calls are growing for the presidency to order an independent audit of the 2025 budget and establish firmer safeguards against legislative overreach in the appropriation process. Civil society groups and transparency advocates are urging anti-corruption agencies to investigate and hold all culpable individuals accountable. In a tense Oval Office meeting, President Donald Trump showed South African President Cyril Ramaphosa a video of people chanting violent slogans and claimed that white farmers are fleeing South Africa. The unexpected move sparked controversy and debate over race, violence, and international relations. During the meeting, President Trump said, "White farmers are fleeing South Africa," and played a video of people chanting, "Kill the Boer, kill the farmer." The slogan has a history in anti-colonial struggles but is often seen as promoting violence. The video seemed to surprise President Ramaphosa, with observers comparing the moment to Trump's past pressure tactics, like his 2019 meeting with Ukraine's leader. Ramaphosa stayed calm and responded firmly, saying the chants don't reflect government policy and that South Africa aims to fix past injustices peacefully and fairly. The meeting happened just as 59 white South Africans arrived in the U.S., where they'll be given refugee status. President Trump pointed to their case as proof of a crisis he says the media is ignoring. However, critics say Trump is using false claims that could stir up racial tensions. Experts note that while South Africa faces serious problems like crime and land reform, there's no evidence of a government-backed campaign against white people. Let's take a moment to hear how South African President Ramaphosa and Donald Trump approach leadership.
People are fleeing South Africa for their own safety. Their land is being confiscated, and in many cases they're being killed. And that scene of, you see how many crosses they have. Those crosses, that's a dead person in every one of them. And those trucks or cars are paying their respects to all of those dead people on a Sunday morning. That's a rough thing to explain away. It's a big problem. Marco Rubio was telling me he's never seen anything like it. the numbers of people that want to leave South Africa because they feel they're going to be dead very soon.
As government, as my own party, we are completely opposed to that. We, in 1955, adopted a document which said South Africa belongs to all who live in it.
But why wouldn't you arrest that man? That man said, kill the white farmers, kill the white farmers. And then he danced, and he's dancing, and it's kill the white farmers. I'm not sure, but I think if somebody got up in Parliament and started saying, kill a certain group of people, he would be arrested very quickly. That man is going all over South Africa. And that's not a small party. That was a stadium that holds 100,000 people, and I hardly saw an empty seat. That's a lot of people. That's a lot of representation. And those crosses, we have dead white people, dead white farmers, mostly. And you take a look at Australia, they're being inundated, and we're being inundated with people that want to get out. And their farm is valueless. It's valueless. And they just want to get out with their life. And this is a very serious situation. And if we had a real news or real press or media, we don't have that because they won't talk about this because they're all guys like that idiot. But if we had a real press, it would be exposed. And you know, the beauty of exposing it is it's like a cleansing action. When it gets exposed, it'll get fixed. That's when it'll get fixed. But people don't talk about it. And I'll tell you who's talking about the thousands of people that are fleeing South Africa right now. It's devastating, and hopefully a lot of people are going to start spending a lot of money. And I've talked to other nations. We want them to chip in and spend money too. And we've spent a lot, and it's a tremendous problem going on in many countries. A lot of problems going on. The United States always gets the request for money. Nobody else helps, as you know. Europe doesn't help. Europe hasn't given anything. All they do is sue our companies. You know, they sue Apple, and they sue all of our companies. Apple had to pay $17 billion on a nonsense lawsuit. Very unfair. But we're going to always be there to help. I mean, it's a little bit bad when you see a stadium with 100,000 people in it, because that means it's more than just a little movement. It's a pretty big movement in South Africa. So it has to be resolved. It'll be the end of the country if it's. I'm not here for my health. I'm here to see what it is. No, I'd like to see. I have friends. I can tell you, Ernie Els and Retief Goosen, they feel so strongly they wanted to be here on behalf of South Africa, not on behalf of me.
Yes.
And, you know, they said, can we be here for this? Because they love the country.
Through growing the economy, we're then able to create more jobs. Because crime really thrives where there is inequality and unemployment. And that is one of the reasons that has brought us here, to improve our investment relations, our trade relations, so that we can preserve the number of jobs that your companies have created in South Africa. By virtue of what we export to you, we are able to create up to 500,000 jobs in the auto industry, in the agricultural industry, and a number of other industries, mining, where we export things to you. And we also know that as South African companies invest here, you are also able to create jobs. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship. And we are able to grow our economy with your support, and so that we are also able to address all these societal problems, because criminality thrives when people are unemployed, when they have no other hope to eke out a living. So that is what we need to resolve. And your support, your partnership with us is what is really going to give us a strong capability to move forward.
Well, I haven't made up my mind. I hate to see it from the standpoint of South Africa, but also, you know, I'm trying to save lives. I'm working with Russia and Ukraine. I don't have to do that. It's not our war. It was started by other people. Something along by our past administration. It would have never happened if I were president, but I'm trying to save lives. And no matter where. Rwanda, I have nothing to do with Rwanda and the Congo, but I felt I had a very talented person in this administration, and I sent him there, and he did an unbelievable job, I think. I mean, we're going to find out, but he's done the hardest part of the job. It should happen. If I can save lives, I want to save the lives. If it's in Africa, that's great. If it's in Europe, if it's wherever it may be. And it's a very small investment to do, believe me, compared to what the consequences are. So I hope we can do something. Look, I have so many friends. These two men, I have great admiration for them because I know what they do for a living.
Yeah.
And that's a very hard living. Going from city to city, from country to country, and hitting a ball 350 yards like they do, and getting the ball in the hole. It's a very tough, with lots of people watching, right?
Yes,
That's a very tough living. They're champions. I respect champions, and I respect very much, and I think the country is very lucky. They really wanted to be here.
That's true.
They could be elsewhere. They could be on a beautiful fairway someplace, and they wanted to be here. Without the United States, the G20, just like the G7, used to be the G8, but brilliantly they threw Russia out. Would have been a lot better if Russia was in. A lot of people would say, oh, that's not it. Because if Russia was in, you probably wouldn't have this war. And if you had a different president, you wouldn't have the war either. But we have a G7. It's important that the United States is involved. I think without the United States, I really believe it's not very important. It's not the same meaning.
As I said to President Trump, the U.S. really originated the G20. And it's important that the United States continues to play a key role in the G20. And we are privileged to be the president of the G20. But we are even overjoyed that we are going to hand over to the United States, who are the originators. And for that reason, I expect the United States to continue playing the leadership role in the G20 together with other countries. And I've said when I initially spoke to President Trump on the phone, I want him to come to South Africa for a state visit, and I also want him to come and participate in the G20. And I want to gladly hand over to President Trump to take the leadership of the G20 forward in November.
That's it for now, but I will be back with more updates as the story develops. If you found this report helpful, don't forget to like, share, and comment with your thoughts. Subscribe and follow to stay updated on all the latest news. Thanks for watching. Well, that's it for now, but I will be back with more updates as the story develops. If you found this report helpful, don't forget to like, share, and comment with your thoughts. Subscribe and follow to stay updated on all the latest news. Thanks for watching. Well, see you again.